All set.
Good evening, and welcome to the January 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Lyman Planning Board. This meeting will now come to order. This is a public proceeding, and unless the board specifically goes into executive session, you'll have the right to hear everything that is being said and to look at all exhibits that are offered. If the board does go into executive session, the reason for doing so shall be precisely stated. Please notify the board chair if you are having difficulty seeing or hearing. This meeting is being recorded for YouTube. In each instance, the burden is upon the applicant to demonstrate compliance with the provisions of the applicable ordinance or ordinances. After the board votes on the merits of each project, we will prepare a written opinion which will be forwarded within 7 days. The board works on a prepared agenda and will be considering this meeting's items in the following order. After we have a roll call, we will cover MX 207 over on Bartlett's Bridge Road. Peter and Penny Bridgman to discuss a floating dock. Kyle Gaspin to speak about the removal of the dock and an easement right of way. Brookview Estates discussing escrow account requirements. Rustic Dreams to review information to update the site review plan. Updates from the code enforcement officer. Consideration of minutes from the December 20th, 23 public hearing and planning board meeting. And on old business, we have the Harper residential subdivision down in the southern portion of the town on Old Kennebunk Road. Can you please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Long may she wait.
Thank you, everyone. Before we do the roll call, is everyone here for a particular item on the agenda? And what might that be?
The sun.
The sun.
The
Okay.
sun.
Okay.
The noise.
Noise.
So we'll, if without objection, we'll leave that up on tonight's agenda. So.
Mr. Chair, add it to the agenda versus moving it up.
Again?
Add it to the agenda versus moving it up.
Well, it was going to be brought up by our code enforcement officer, from what I understand.
Okay.
Let's add that to the agenda as the first item of business without objection.
So moved.
Okay, good. All right. And now, Cecile emailed us saying that she would not be able to attend today. I move to recognize Bill Single as a full voting member for tonight's meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I kind of just have I facetiously suggested to Bill that when Cecile is back, maybe like a possession arrow thing. No, which alternate. Try to keep it like so. Let me see. Now, before the, let's take care of the roll call. Kelly, if you please.
Kelly Demers, 10 Partridge Way.
Don Hernan, 32 Murphy's Way.
Joe Wagner, 26 Day Road.
Bill Single, 8 Single Lane.
Kevin Mayer, 64 Buggin Pond Road.
Now, I'd like to just say the following before we proceed. Rod Tato has served as the chair of this body for many years. Throughout the time, he displayed steady leadership, a practical, common sense approach to addressing issues, objective impartiality, and institutional knowledge. Foremost, always, during his tenure on the planning board, was promoting the best interest of our community here in Lyman. His presence will be sorely missed.
I may just make a comment. At some stage here, we ought to vote in a new chairman and a vice chairman. I'm happy right this second.
Mhm.
But if you want to go forward with this, with the discussion on his song, since most people seem to be interested in doing that, but maybe afterwards, if we have some time, it's not on the agenda, but it does say that the agenda is subject to change without notice.
Mhm.
So, and I guess has Rod's resignation been accepted?
It was.
Okay, thank you.
Very sad on the part of this board. Now, when is our normal regular election?
It's the first, it's right after the June 30th, first meeting of the new year. I mean, of the new fiscal year.
Postpone.
Are we allowed to vote prior to the election, or do we just allow the vice president to act as, or vice chair to act as chair in the interim? Which I don't have a problem with at
You need a
all.
vice chair.
We do need a vice chair in case the
So I suggest,
current absence chair
Oh,
is not here.
yeah,
you know something? Adam?
you gotta have, Brenda had a comment.
The bylaws say that your chair and your vice chair cannot be drawn from your alternates, only permanent members. So I'm wondering if you should wait because that may change with the new appointment. Because as it is right now, we really only have 3 permanent members now and 2 alternates, I believe.
We got 4 permanent. Me, Don,
4 permanent, okay.
Joe, and
And 2
Kevin.
alternates, okay. You could draw from that, but I'm wondering if you should wait until the membership's all done. Up to you.
Well, anyway,
I personally am-
Postpone that a little bit?
What's that?
Want to postpone discussion of that a little bit?
I'm in no rush, so yeah,
So-
postpone it.
I would suggest talking about his song first. We'll get back to that maybe.
To kick off, Brenda, do you have some information on the,
I do. I think I asked Julie to give you an overhead that I made, just to show you the proximity of the different facilities that we're talking about. I think I can't remember, it was a couple days ago, but I highlighted where the complaints are coming from in one color. Are they showing up on the bottom of that overhead? And the proximity of the operations that are out there.
Oh, wait a minute, you're talking about, this,
That's the one.
let me see. So what do you, would you please explain it?
Okay.
Mhm.
So I showed you on that overhead where the Hissong facility is,
Right,
where the Du Bois facility is, where the majority of the complaints that I've been getting, which is from Rustic and Gray. I highlighted those so you can just
Right.
pick them out really
Yeah.
quickly, just to show you the proximity.
There's another highlight at the top on Old
Well,
Davis.
I highlighted that because I got a complaint from Old Ben Davis Road.
Okay.
really?
So I did. And
Wow.
they described as a low humming drone, which I think is a very good
Mhm. Analogy.
description of what I've been hearing.
Mhm.
So I've been out to Hissong several times. Once when they were expecting me, several times when they weren't expecting me. Every time I've been out there, the crusher has been running. The crusher does not sound like that drone that I'm hearing down on Rustic and Gray. It doesn't sound like that. It's a whole different sound. They did turn on the dust collector for me. That's the sound I was hearing.
Ah,
Now, they tell me that, and this is what I have been witnessing when I've been out there, that the dust collector is only on when they're loading trucks, for the 10 minutes while they're loading trucks. He assured me of that. They said when they were here last time that they have about 12 trucks a day. A lot of the people said that they didn't think that sounded quite right. So I went back and looked at a lot of the reports in the past. They're actually log in, log out reports. And it was on an average of 15 a day. So that's in the right neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I am going to stick my neck out and say that I do not believe the noise is coming from Hissong. I believe it's coming from another facility. And I don't say that lightly. I really don't. I've done a lot of work on this. And I go different times of day. I did go up to Old Ben Davis. After I got the complaint, there was several days of rain. Well, they're not using the dust collectors when it's raining. So I had to wait for a nice clear day. And I went up there and I stayed for quite a while and I didn't hear anything. That doesn't mean, I mean, obviously for someone to come right out of the blue and make the complaint, describe it of what we're hearing over on Gray and Rustic, I mean, that gives it some credibility. Old Ben Davis, is quite a ways away, but noise is difficult to gauge. It does its own thing. So I guess I'm really here more for direction from the board of what you want me to do next. If you want me to contact every facility out there, and I don't go on site without being asked. I just don't do it. So, or for a reason.
Can I ask a question, Brenda?
Sure.
Were the conveyor belts at the base of the pit operating when you went there? Because in taking the concerns of the citizens, I went online and started doing some Google Earth backtracking. And only recently have they started putting 3 conveyor belt systems at the base of the pit. Now, I know when those are running, they emit a hum. I don't know if those are operating when you visited or not.
They haven't, and I dare say I've been out there 5 or 6 times, different times of day.
But could you hear that noise?
No.
Huh.
I could not hear that noise. I could hear it when I was over on Rustic and over on Gray. I could definitely hear that noise. It's very annoying. It really is.
I mean, at the same time, you didn't hear it at his home, or I'm trying to get the.
Well, the first call that I got was from Rustic, and I stood out there. It oddly enough, it's like when you take your car to mechanic, the noise stops, right? And the noise wasn't there at the moment. So we talked a few minutes, and before I left, the noise came back. So it was around noontime, maybe it was lunchtime. I don't know, but the noise. So I did go around, and it's quite a ways around.
Yeah.
And I did not hear it at the Hillsong facility that day. I have not heard it from every
Huh.
time I've gone up there.
So it's gotta
I
be-
think a few of you have been up there, maybe. I don't know if you've heard it.
Well, just like.
Yeah, I'll just put my 2 cents in. I took some time out of my day today and went out there this afternoon. Based on my notes, I got there at 1:45. I went to the cul-de-sac on Rustic Lane and stood there. I heard the beeping from all the construction equipment at the Dupois pit. I heard there was a couple Air Force planes that went overhead pretty low at the same time. However, I did not hear a hum right away, but at 2 p.m., almost exactly, that hum came on. And I can tell you, wherever it's coming from, it's unacceptable.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
That's one of the most annoying things I've heard.
Yes.
It should not be happening in Lyman. Whether it's his songs, dust collection system, something needs to be done, and we need to figure it out.
Just by chance, I should have stayed around a little bit longer, let you down there.
Yeah,
Just coincidentally.
as soon as you drove away, it came on.
I have nothing to do with this.
Huh, that's interesting.
But I did not hear it at that point in time when I was down there with Kevin. But prior, I was all the way down at the Carlisle Riding Academy, heard it there. Heard it at Rustic, heard it on Gray. And it was about a week back, just coming out of my own home on Day Road, I kind of heard a hum. So is it possible that maybe Foley Logging has something working there? I don't mean to be facetious, but is there any sort of device that not only measures decibel level, but also gives some sort of reliable indication as to direction of the noise?
This has been going on for several years, this sound.
Okay.
I know we're doing a lot of logging on the experimental forest and things like that.
It was before the logging.
Okay.
I've heard humming from logging operations, but nothing like this.
No, it's and I mean, all of us hear the backup alarms and all,
Yeah.
you can live with that. But this drone and the fact that it's hour after hour after hour, and I guess, I mean, I could ask to visit Bollier. I mean, he's only been in operation a year.
Mhm.
But some people have said it started about a year ago, so I don't know. I guess what I need is, this board has jurisdiction over those gravel pits. And what I need is direction from the board and the authority to fan out and try to find where this is. And I am so sure it's not his song. I really am. just from my visits, and they've been so cooperative. And
Has Du Bois submitted any paperwork?
I
they've
haven't-
Added any equipment or anything?
I haven't seen anything, and I did, Julie and I went and we pulled out all the paperwork that we had on Du Bois. I just haven't had a chance to read it. They are allowed to add operations.
But they don't typically list, well, I wouldn't think in the notice of decision or anything, wouldn't list that anyway, would it? I mean, it
No,
could, but-
really, what the town oversees is of course how many, I mean, it's things like how many acres are open, how many acres are reclaimed, how much is storage, things like that. That's what I look for when I go out.
Right.
If they're adding some kind of a new processing system, that really wouldn't show up
Not unless they came back for some reason, they probably would.
unless they came back for some reason. I mean, if it's a different use of some kind, then yes, they would be obligated to come back and add that to the notice of decision. So, I guess what I need is direction from the board of, do you want me to reach out to I didn't think of Bolia, but why not? You know, every facility that's in that proximity, I think, I need to reach out and ask if,
What else is down there? This-
Yes, it's across the road, across 111. That's even more distant there.
it's quite a ways,
Yeah.
but there again, noise is strange.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I don't know if if there are experts in noise and,
Well, I mean, we're not gonna solve it tonight, but, it sounds like you're looking for authorization to proceed and investigate further with other facilities in the area.
I feel that when I reach out and ask the different facilities to visit their site, I need the backup of this
Sure.
group to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
I need your
obviously,
direction.
it is affecting the townspeople to the great extent that we have this in our audience tonight. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be investigated. Do you know if any drone technology would help you? If we could hire someone with a drone to fly over and, you know, try to zone in on the sound.
I don't know if that's going to isolate the sound. I mean, that's going to give us a good purview of what's going on out there, but
Right,
it's
but
not going to isolate.
Hypothetically, you get a decibel meter and you go, okay,
I don't know if the decibel meter is going to pick that up. Our ordinance says what? 70 decibels during the day at the property
Yeah.
line, 60 at night.
Yeah.
This sound does not hit that. I do not hit
Annoying.
that. It's a different sound.
It's gone from, I think, from whether it meets sound code or not, to does it meet the nuisance code?
right.
Because it's definitely a nuisance.
The resident
And it's
harmonics
sound
are
that
just,
is creating a nuisance.
And
And my
then,
apologies.
Mhm.
Please identify yourself.
Mike Johnson?
Okay, and then,
Karen, I live right at the end of the road, I have a little town there.
I live on Rustic Lane.
Well, I would make a motion that the planning board authorize the code enforcement officer to further investigate other facilities in the area of the gravel pits in question to try to determine what the cause of this annoying sound is. And I don't know how to describe it, but obviously there's something bothering people. Anyway, that's my motion. That would give.
Just a
motion
comment.
second, discussion.
I would think of a way to possibly pinpoint it is if you could take a couple people with you. Go to where you can hear the sound, stay there, have somebody go start checking Du Bois and the other pits.
Mhm.
And if you find something, have them shut it down and see if the sound goes away. That's gonna identify it easier than anything.
and that's what we did at Hissong. He shut everything down and then turned them on one by one.
But
That-
when they were shut down, could you hear the sound? That's why I say you need to leave somebody there to hear the sound and have somebody else go.
They shut down at lunchtime.
Yeah. they stop it.
Count me in on that. We're in a discussion process, but at the same time, can you please identify yourself and
Yeah, my name is Penny Brickman. I live on 195 Barker's Road. And I work with sound as part of my job.
Oh,
But what might be helpful is like a weather radar. It's like they use Doppler to pinpoint the direction of sound. It's called a weather radar, and that would be able to help pinpoint the origin of the sound and like the speed and all of that and the frequency of the sound.
Who would do that?
Whether your weather facilities would have that capability, like weather radar.
Well, there's the, isn't there a output in gray,
No.
US weather?
Yeah.
and we got a motion on the table.
And just,
I'm rushing, I'm not rushing.
I know, but I know it's a little bit out of procedure, but we have folks that want to chip in. Yes, ma'am, and you're,
I'm
What?
Michelle Cheney. We live at 74 Old North Berwick Road, which is not that close to where these folks all live. And it's very loud, very annoying. We are having workmen at our house right now, and they're coming out going, what the heck's happening? So we can call when it's happening. Lindsay hears it all day long.
All day today.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, if we want to alert whoever's in charge that it's happening, I think they know more than we do. But we never heard anything prior to a year and a half ago. Never heard a word because
Is that when the logging started?
as part of the
I
motion,
don't know.
as part of the motion, we have an understanding that,
But I haven't filed an official complaint. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But it's not just Rustic Lane, so I'll go on the record as there's my official complaint.
In my official.
and as part of the understanding of the motion, Fred, can you contact each of the facilities involved, potentially involved, and kind of just put them on call?
Okay.
Have someone ready to respond when the sound happens again. A couple of us will go out there, maybe you stay where the sound is most predominant, and the others will head over to the facilities, and with the understanding that someone will be there to address
Okay.
the concern.
I'm sorry. But another thing would be good too is for people that are there hearing it, if you just start a little paper log, started, stopped, date.
I took an audio recording of it this morning.
Yeah, Mr. Bolliard gave us a audio recording of that.
Yeah.
It is, sir,
I'm Nick Armentrout. I live on Drown Lane, if I may. On this picture, the overhead, you go up the road from Rustic and Gray. It's the dead end lane that's first one down from Walker Road. That's where I am, about 1.5 miles, mapping it from Google Earth.
Yeah.
It's similar to George and Michelle Cheney, although Lindsay and the Harmons are a little bit closer and Wendy's a lot closer. This is the sound. I'm 1.5 miles away. That's my wife, 4 feet away.
Well, that's good to the people, not to us.
All right. This is the sound. I got numerous recordings of it. I have a log. I haven't lived as long in the area as some of the neighbors here. I've been there 25 years. For 25 years, I've been going out at 6:30 in the morning, feeding my animals at 6:30 in the morning for 25 years. This wasn't there 25 years ago. This wasn't there 15 years ago. I really started hearing it in earnest probably about a year, 18 months ago. I'm not as close as some others. I can hear it in my house. We renovated our house in 2011. I bring that up because our windows are fairly new. They're not single pane and drop down storms. They're new windows. I can hear it in my house 1.5 miles away. I hear it Monday through Friday, sometimes at 6:45, sometimes right up until 6 o'clock at night. When I first heard it, I was so disturbed by it because I very much enjoy living where I live that I called the number I could find on the website, and I got a call back from a gentleman who said, well, thanks, it's not my responsibility, but I'll put you in touch with whose responsibility it is. That was Chris Pizy, who called me back. Chris, I'm not pointing at you. Chris was sitting here at the November meeting that I attended, at which time Hissong was seeking approval for a permit to expand their facility. I attended that meeting and voiced similar concerns at that time, that if they were going to expand their facility, I was deeply concerned because of the noise of their current facility. Why do I think this is Hissong? Because unlike other individuals here, and I appreciate the efforts, I've gone down and parked by Hissong's gate during the day. And I've looked at DuBois over here, and I've looked at Hissong over here, and I've listened to the sound. The sound is weird. Sound does travel funny. There's something I noticed right off, and that's over the years, DuBois' facility has expanded. There's no more trees there. I'm not saying DuBois is bad. I'm just saying that their operation has expanded and it's quite open now. There used to be quite a few trees back there. There aren't anymore. I believe that those trees were probably buffering sound for a number of years. They're not there. So there aren't natural buffers for some of the sound that perhaps were there anymore. That's my theory. Of course, it's also the time of year, leaves on the trees, so we hear it more this time of year. There definitely is an undulating to it. Sometimes it's really loud, as if the sound is really carrying. Other times it's sort of more subdued and it's in the background. Today was sort of a subdued day, but you could still hear it all day long. There are other times where it's like a wave and it really comes. I was in touch with Brender's office, although we've only communicated by email. Concerned about the sound, I looked into Maine DEP laws. Maine does define sound and noise. They have a whole system and decimal levels, and they define it for everything from jet engines passing over to standing in proximity to a vacuum cleaner, and what those decimal levels would be and what they consider them then to be. Are they nuisance? Are they harmful? And where are certain noise levels allowed according to Maine DEP? And one of those areas they sort of have some different policies would be sort of fragile or quiet zones, which are generally residential and school areas. So that changes decimal levels beyond general commercial operations, which are at other levels. I appreciate what this board is doing, and I appreciate code enforcement's or efforts to get to the bottom of this. I think you guys, as a body and the town, is listening to its residents, and that's great. But I think to figure this out, we need much more of a deliberate investigation, and I think we need to measure sound. I think it's fine to start with the rudimentary level and go out and listen and have some other people stand around and listen. There are also ways to measure sound, and there are ways to measure sound that would be recognized, for instance, by Maine Department or DEP. And I think we should use those as our standards. And I think we should find a way to engage in that kind of research. And if it's not Hissong, fine. If it's not DuBois, fine. But it is a sound, and we need to define it very clearly, because if there's an effort to change it after business of any type has made their investments to build their business, which is one of the things I was told, hey, I got a business to run here. That's one of the things I heard back. I thought it was kind of funny. But if we're going to change something, we have to have some real numbers. And that's got to be more than folks standing and listening and backtracking. We need some measurement.
Along those lines, Mr. Armstrong, would you suggest, acquiring some sort of device?
Yeah, but I don't know what that device is,
Or,
Joe.
Or contract out to?
Third-party sound engineer.
Yeah.
Yes, sound engineer.
A third party.
Gotta be a sound testing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just maybe, again, part of the motion that's still on the floor. Directing the code enforcement officer to contact the town manager to see if a third-party sound engineer could be hired to address the situation. You okay with that?
Sure.
Yep.
Amend the motion on board?
Yeah, I'll amend it.
Okay.
It's like that.
And what was there, I'm sorry. Yeah, you had it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just want to say I'm Lindsay Harmon, I'm on a 161 Old North Road, just for reference, we're just between, just prior to like Cheney's and Armandron's, so.
Let me retract my motion for a minute. I'm going to make a comment.
Sure.
Do that. Yeah. The only thing I would say, not trying to be negative, and I think gentleman here had a very good idea as far as getting some data on this. The question is gonna be who pays for it? And that's, I know that's an issue, and now that's probably gonna be an issue because it's just a matter of anything else. If we're gonna hire a sound engineer or somebody, there has to be, and we don't have a budget for that. The planning board doesn't have a budget for that. But I'm just pointing that out now. I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just saying that, that could be an issue. And I would think, step one would be to authorize Brenda to go and take action as far as investigating the other people in that area. But then after that, the next step is getting some funding to hire a sound engineer or somebody who has some technical capability, because I don't think it's rocket science, but.
Making that a twofold motion, authorizing Brenda to conduct further investigations and authorize Brenda to contact the town manager to see if a third-party sound engineer can be hired, maybe through contingency funds, as I heard Bill suggest.
And I think without verifying this through the attorney, one of the conditions of your approval on any of these facilities out there is that it has no negative impact on the neighborhood. So if we do incur some kind of an expense and it is isolated to a facility that you have jurisdiction over, I would expect that maybe that expense could be passed on to them at some point.
To the
So
violator.
I'd like to just, because that is a condition of approval, and you can pull back the approval anytime one of those conditions is violated. So that does give you the authority.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I would suggest that to move things along, if Brenda could just investigate what does a sound engineer cost? What's the ballpark that we're talking about will help you guys decide when or where, or is it feasible?
Good point. Yeah, three-part of it. What, conducted the investigation.
She got another question.
Well, I have a comment, and I know you've put time into this, Brenda, and I think we all appreciate that, and we are being heard, which Lindsay Harmon's heard me say. We've been to the meetings. How many meetings have we been to? When they wanted to go into aggregate or something a few years ago, this room was packed and people had concerns. The roads, the speeding, all of this, and it all was within the realm. And I stood and said, why can't you just be a good neighbor and do a better job? Yes, you're here trying to do business. A lot of us in this room have a business on that community. And we're all trying to be good neighbors and do good business. In respect for our CEO's time, maybe the direction should be nail down who can actually figure this out. Because it doesn't matter who it is, but it needs to stop or be changed or curtailed, and they need to change the way they're doing business if they are not within proper levels of doing their business in a community. So we can all call her and send her emails saying we hear it, but I think we're wasting time. And some of us have been asking about this for over 2 years.
And maybe like you suggested, maybe they isolate it. You turn your machine on and they listen. Maybe there's a late start on Monday for his song, and they don't start until 9, 10 o'clock. And then the next day or next couple of days, maybe it's Du Bois that doesn't start until 9, 10 o'clock, or whichever companies, in line. Would make it easier than trying to have them shut down one at a time in a day.
Well, if you can hear the sound, it's operating. So then let's go identify where that's coming from, and then have them shut it down, and if the sound goes away, you've identified the point. So I think that would work out the best. I think this lady's idea was great. I would call the weather service in Gray and ask them, is there a way that you could identify this kind of a sound? See what they can do. They might say, yeah, we can do that for you. and they might say, no. You
But
know.
they might know who can do it.
Correct, correct.
That there are, that people have this expertise for sure.
But I mean, if we could identify where the sound's coming from, then it's a matter of going and dealing with the noise levels. And at least we've identified the source.
Okay.
Let me make my motion again. I make a motion that the planning board authorize the code enforcement officer to further investigate the noise that's generated in this particular area of town, including but not limited to the investigation of the individual facilities down there that may produce this type of noise, and also to investigate the ability to get a technical expert and/or noise identifying equipment that would further help us determine who or what facility is generating this, I won't say obnoxious noise, but this noise that's annoying to residents.
We can include in that contacting the weather services.
And also including contacting the weather services, anybody else who wants to contact on this.
Julie, got all that?
I did actually.
Okay. Sounds good.
Run-on sentence stuff.
Yeah, that's a run-on sentence.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion, motion. And further discussion first from the board. But just to allow public input.
Wendy Karen from Old North Borough Road. When I ride my horses down that road frequently. And if you're heading out Old Kennybunk Road and Hisson's aggregate is on the left, there's a new, bigger clearing happening on the right side. And I don't know if that's Hisson and Du Bois, but that seems to be where the sound's coming from when I rode out there 2 weeks ago. In that area.
Noted. Back to the motion. That's any further discussion?
Just have one more suggestion for anybody who's keeping track of the noise and the logs and everything. If you can also get a compass reading of which direction the sound is coming from, you can either use an old-fashioned compass or a compass on your iPhone, whether it's west, southwest, or just a bearing. And keep track of that.
It's definitely coming from the pits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's west from
with
our
people
house.
living all around different areas, you can try to triangulate.
Yeah,
So if you can keep track of that as well.
yeah, that's when I rode 2 weeks ago out there. It was quite loud that day. They rode the horses past and it seemed to be coming from the right side.
I think that's the boys.
Yeah, not sure if they're expanding up towards Carlisle Brook Road. It's up in that area. Here's-
No further discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Hi.
Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll do what we can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all coming and participating.
Thank you for letting us speak without actually being on the agenda.
Yes. If you didn't sign in as you come in, please sign in as you go out, so we have a full
Documentation of participation.
That's right.
Right, I don't know. if we rode out.
I was gonna say, I'd be willing, if I got a notice that it was happening. My schedule's pretty flexible. I'll be willing to go try to track it down.
Coming over in December.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Right smack.
Next on the agenda is the notice of decision for MX 207. And my understanding of that is that the additional dates of planning board meetings during which MX 207 was discussed, that they had a representative here, will be included into the notice of decision. As the best I can recollect, the last version of the notice of decision that was emailed out to us did have the changes that we agreed to, both from the counsel for the applicant and town council. which was the professional
You're talking
offices.
Mary.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was
Blended it
confused.
Back to this, again, the dates will be added to the notice of decision, and I think that's sufficient, because the 16 steps were covered and are included in our planning board meetings from the last meeting.
Mhm.
The only thing to add there was the category under which MX 207 will be placed in our land planning ordinance table was
Outdoor recreation.
outdoor recreation.
No.
Oh.
Recreational facility.
Recreational
facility.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because,
Yes,
unfortunately, outdoor recreation says any non-commercial activity.
correct.
Recreation facility is a business which provides indoor, outdoor recreational activity, including, but not limited to, miniature golf, racquetball, tennis, exercising, bowling, swimming, showing of movies, and exhibition of any performing arts. Well, they're not doing any of that, but it's not limited to, it's an outdoor facility. And it does obviously have recreational activity because that's what their business is. It's recreational activity.
Mhm.
So I would suggest that it fits under there. And that, I believe, is site plan. Let me double check on that.
Standard 16.
That's allowed in commercial, it's site review and it's recreational facilities, not allowed in residential, but it's site review in general purpose and in commercial residential, which I believe that's what this area
This
is.
is a general purpose.
So anyway, I would suggest we put that in.
Okay. All right, next on the agenda, Peter and Penny Bridgman.
Did we need to vote on the final notice of decision as amended?
Make a motion.
No, let's do so.
Make a motion that we approve the notice of decision as amended.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, carries. Now, sorry. And this discussion of a floating dock in shoreland closer than 75 feet from water. Okay. Please explain.
We have had a dock built on shoreland that is down by Barker's Pond. We didn't have to clear any trees. We moved no rocks. We didn't bring any fill or anything like that. We just put a dock right next to the water.
All right.
What does the zoning allow down there? Brenda, do you have a-
The zoning on the land use table, it says that a permanent dock needs to be approved by the planning board.
So is this a temporary dock or permanent dock?
It'd be permanent.
Well, it's a floating dock, so it's not, I mean, it would stay there, but it's not built into the ground and it's just kind of sitting on top of the ground.
Does it stay there all year round?
It does. Is that what you mean by
Sort
permanent?
of makes it look like permanent.
Okay,
This is-
yes,
this is-
yes, that's it right there,
Oh,
yeah,
it's a picture.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
I took several pictures.
oh, yeah, okay. I'm sure
And
that-
if you go on 195,
Barker's
Barker's
Pond Rock.
Pond.
there are, as you're on Barker's Pond Road, there are 2 houses, and there's a third in a row.
So we own
Yeah.
both properties. We own 197, we own 195, and now 199. So it's kind of where that little point comes out. It's like a cove
Yeah.
right there. Like if you're standing at the public beach and you're looking kind of right across where
I drove out there to take a look and gave my Sharks and Springs a pretty good workout.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does, yeah.
But, yeah, from that visit today, the big trucks where you are.
Okay.
I like CC.
So this is not in the water.
No, it's
No.
not.
Oh,
So it's not a dock.
It's not a dock, it's a
like
deck.
It's a deck.
Or a patio.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm
or-
like, well,
No, we didn't.
if it's
we
floating,
didn't
it's a.
wanna Put anything in the water.
Yeah,
That's not our thing. We just wanted to.
I think, okay. It's a structure.
yeah. Mhm.
So would that initiate a best practical location? It's a structure.
Yeah, it's not attached to the house, though. Not that it means anything, but it's not.
So the shed, it's best practical location. Any structure should be best practical.
And it touches the water in one photo, and we're into the water, and
But if you notice, your definitions for piers, docks, and it's not water dependent,
Yeah.
No.
but part of the definition is if it's out over the water. So I didn't know how to that.
it's,
I really didn't know what to do with it. I'll be perfectly honest.
In our normal water table, we've had a lot of, like, our water table is really, really high this year, abnormally high.
Yeah.
Actually, the highest that it's been, and a lot of the longtime residents have said this is the highest they've ever actually seen it. So when the deck was built 4 years ago, it didn't touch or enter into the water, none of the structures.
I'm sorry, didn't what?
It didn't enter into the water at
Oh,
all.
okay.
There was, it wasn't our plan for it to even like be
But
in
you
the
don't-
water.
You didn't, I mean, I don't know, I'm asking, you didn't get a permit to do the deck?
Well, we thought that, the person that we hired we just assumed that they would do that. We had a conversation, hey, do we need a permit? And they had said, yeah, we'll take care of that. And we just assumed, I don't know if that was taken care of. We've never had to get a permit for anything before, so we're not really like familiar at that point. Like we've never had to, not when I say we've never had to, we've never had the experience of having to.
So the short answer is you don't know.
The short answer was obviously we didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give a hard time, just.
No, absolutely. We're not either.
so
We're not
Brenda, I'm presuming there's no permit in the file? Okay, so we're begging for forgiveness.
Correct.
I
Okay,
guess at this point we are, yeah.
well, let's, yeah, okay.
It was ignorance on our part. that we
Yeah.
we didn't follow through.
Post-construction permit, shoreline zoning.
So number 17 on the land use chart.
I'm sorry, now, which shoreline?
You're in shoreland, okay.
Yeah, it's this color.
Yep, which page are you on?
I am on page 13,
Okay.
I gotta go
number
back.
17, and it says piers, docks, walks, bridges, and other structures or uses extending over or below the normal high water line, or within a wetland. So this is within the 250
Yeah.
feet or 75 feet.
Oh, yeah, and,
And because I considered it permanent, I thought it came for the planning.
yep, it is permanent structure,
Um,
high water
I
table.
mean, is it after the fact?
Yeah,
Nobody's saying that it isn't.
It's, in my opinion, it's after the fact. It is a permanent structure.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm on 13. Now, where are we looking at here?
Number
Oh, 17,
17.
okay, here's, okay.
It is planning and does require.
Okay, so-
Planning board.
If this
permit.
were a new, let's assume for a second that this is a new application that hasn't been built.
I would, if they gave me, I would send it to you.
Yeah, and then what, we haven't done one of these.
And that's why, this is going to come up again very soon.
Yeah, let's get it straight.
Mm-hmm.
And those dogs that are on wheels, they push them out.
Yeah.
Yep.
and bring them back. Those are temporary, those
Mhm.
fall in my jurisdiction.
Yep.
So,
And those we regulate by the size and number of fingers and everything else.
but it's going to come to you again. But,
Mhm.
I just consider it a structure.
Yeah, it's just,
I consider it the best practical location.
Mhm.
and this obviously doesn't, I mean, it can't be 75 feet back. That doesn't make
No,
any
the
sense.
best practical location for this respecting the use is not 75 feet up by the road.
Right.
That's,
That's
Mm.
ridiculous.
it defeats the purpose. So I think that would be a findings in the best practical location, that this is the best practical location.
Now, what are we looking at for lot coverage, impermeables,
They're okay lot coverage. We did that for another project they were doing. That's not a concern.
Okay.
I mean, I can calculate it if you want me to, but I
Yeah.
don't think that's something.
Because
Is this gonna open a floodgate of people wanting to put in decks? I mean, I'm not opposed to them, I'm just asking.
What's,
Do you think it will?
what's gonna happen, Don? They're out there. They are out there. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if you get on a boat and you
Yeah.
go around any lake, they're out there. The ones that have been there since, grandpa's owned property.
That's different. It's grandfather,
But I,
legal non-conforming grandfathered use.
But anyway,
but I would like to get a grip on that.
Exactly.
I really would.
As a, for instance, I just did a property up in Green on Sabatis Lake. The guy was allowed to put a fire pit, but he couldn't put a patio around the fire pit because he was within so many feet of the shoreline and it would have encroached on the ground coverage.
Yeah, that was gonna be my comment. How is that different from paver patio? It's a permanent structure.
That would be a consideration. What I
And
generally do is if, we're working on 20%, I tell them sometimes they have to show up in the driveway and revegetate that and get back. I mean, I work with people on that all the time. There's very few properties out there that are under the 20%, let's be realistic. So what like I said, if it's a new project, I tell them, okay, you're putting in, 10 by 10 deck. You will need 100 square feet somewhere. So a lot of times, narrowing up the driveway, shortening up the driveway, revegetating the area.
so what, has that been done for this property or not?
For a different project, we looked at that.
So they're within the restrictions on that?
Including the dimensions of this.
I don't know if I looked at that, but that's.
do we have any pictures before the deck was built?
We don't have any pictures before the deck was built. We bought this property in 2019, so just before all the pandemic stuff started. We didn't have the foresight to take pictures of the cove. We didn't change anything. There were no trees or anything. We just.
That was my concern is your
Yeah.
contractor went in and cut down the 12-inch
No,
maple tree.
there were no trees. We didn't move any vegetation. It was just kind of my desire that it would just kind of sit over everything that was there. And it's probably about 17, 18 inches in the lowest spot and then maybe like 19 inches in the highest spot, where it doesn't, the only thing that really meets the ground is those legs that it's sitting on. Yeah. But we didn't move anything. We didn't dig anything. We didn't clear anything. We just kind of popped it there.
Was there
In fact,
any-
the previous owners did have a dock that went out into the water that had been destroyed,
Yeah.
and they had
It was-
thrown it all into that cove.
And we cleared
Yeah.
all
And
that
we
out.
cleared all that out of there,
Yeah,
and we
and
now had a nice clean spot.
amongst everything. Yeah. There was a lot in that pond, in that cove, and we like literally cleared it out. We took mattresses out, bed springs out, wheelbarrows out. The first thing we did actually when we moved onto the property was to clear all the debris on our neighbors' sides. I mean, we borrowed one of my friend's dump trucks and just cleaned that whole area out. It's really our will to amend the property to make it,
That's good.
Was there any existing stairs or anything structure-wise?
There was no existing stairs, no.
Oh.
Well, then, my suggestion is that we treat this, I mean, I would commend the applicants for coming forth and putting in an application, trying to get this to where it's done properly, but it sounds like we should do it. Consider this as an application as it is, and then do a site walk. We should do a site walk, take a look at it, and then consider it under, I'm not sure what exact criteria under the shoreline. Look and make sure we get the right criteria we're looking at. And,
I think that's practical location. I think it's the-
I know I asked you in the past if you wanted me to use the site plan review application, and we broke that into shoreline.
Right.
And I think that's something we need to work on at some point.
Yeah,
But
and
what we've got now.
I think the permit needs to be amended because it's saying deck floating by water. It's not floating. It is a fixture.
But it does say and structure.
I probably put in my application put floating dock because my understanding of floating dock was that it wasn't like embedded into the ground so that might have been just my terminology. Yeah.
If
It might.
that dock floats, you got some water in it.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
Seems to me. Does it so? A little bit above the.
Yeah.
That's the same. Yeah, so, sidewalk?
Yeah,
I think we,
we should do that. We gotta, what's the time frame on that, Julie? We gotta it's gotta be a.
Well, I know we're
That'd be-
getting a storm, so,
Well, we can get a time frame in terms of notification to the public,
okay.
butters and such.
Yeah.
mhm.
Oh, okay.
It's usually,
You don't have to notify the abutters for a site.
No, my
It's
fault.
just gonna be posted on
Yes.
the,
Treat it like a meeting.
the
Next
Right.
town website and,
Oh,
do it for the.
In terms of the notification,
If the butters don't have, there's no certification requirement.
no, it doesn't have to go in the paper, it just has to go.
So should we do this one? I mean, you really can't do it before the meeting because it's too dark.
yeah, it's gonna have to be a
Sounds like
weekend.
a weekend, maybe, like a Saturday or something.
No, wait till it freezes over, bring ice fishing equipment and
We have the best fishing spot on the pond.
Yeah,
by the way.
it's really the secret spot. Yeah.
I've been catching bass all
I haven't been ice fishing in 30 years.
Well, the next meeting is January the 17th, 2 weeks from today. We want to do this on maybe 13th. That would be a Saturday. How does that sound? So the 13th is a Saturday before the next meeting.
Yeah, we're open to whenever
Yeah.
you want to do a sidewalk. That's more than fine.
and time,
It's a good time, 9, 10, you guys, I mean,
Yeah, 10 o'clock will work.
10, okay for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as we get a quorum, please remember also the sidewalk, since there's a quorum there, or it has to be a quorum of the planning board, so that's supposed to be open to the public. If any of you, and if your neighbors want to observe or something that they, unless there's an objection for some reason, that,
10 o'clock?
you know, I mean, sometimes people come, sometimes, most times they don't, frankly, but sometimes they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's been there for 4 years. Nobody has said anything.
Yeah.
I was actually speaking to my neighbor and, this morning when I was walking the dogs and he was like, you guys have done an amazing job at this property. So, I mean, not that I don't want to speak for our neighbors though, but.
No,
that's-
no, but anyway, I just want to point out that
Mhm.
if there's any objections, you ought to let us know as far as, we never had any issues until I remember it, but it is, since it's basically you got more than a quorum, you got a quorum of planning board members there, so it's supposed to be open to the public.
Yeah,
Not supposed
I
to be
understand.
secret or anything.
and we do have your telephone number, just in case anything. That's up to you. I'm sorry, just a quick one.
And that was on the 13th, next
No
Saturday.
public notice necessary?
Correct.
I don't believe that the sidewalk notice has to go
Is that-
on, I don't have my paper. I don't think it's gotta go to the,
Go get it done.
on the news, in a newspaper,
Wait a minute, let me
just
double
on the
check
town
The
website.
website
And the sign.
The sign.
And
And
the
that's-
sign and
That's sufficient?
bulletin boards.
Yeah.
It's just an extra meeting is all it
Yeah,
is. It's
it's
if
gotta-
you decided to,
It's in that attachment there to the,
Okay.
So does that mean we come back for the meeting here?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
what
We'll
we're-
come back
On
on
the,
the 17th.
On the 17th? Okay.
and just an aside, the Brigamies are working on their best practice, on their, they're permitted by rule for the DEP, so they are working on that.
yeah, what it says in our attachment to the planning board bylaw, just for the record, that for sidewalks, publish notice 1 week in advance on town website, bulletin board, and sign.
Okay.
We're covered.
So, as long as we do that, it should be okay. We want to make sure we follow the ordinance, otherwise.
Yeah,
we get
absolutely.
bad.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we just want a clean conscience with
Yeah, no
conscience
problem.
with all of this.
Do you pay your taxes too?
Yes.
What a smack you,
Yes,
Don.
we do.
So do I.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you.
See you on the 13th.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sidewalk.
Next on the
Saturday.
agenda is.
You too, take it.
So do we know who the contractor was?
I wish I knew. I thought.
They wouldn't tell you?
Well, that's unfortunate.
And don't issue a permit.
Yeah.
Period.
I don't know if I am that bad, but I always try to find out who the contractor is because they know better.
They should.
Well,
And
They should be
that's,
notified and called in and read the riot act,
And
period.
technically, that contractor should be a DEP certified.
Mhm.
Shoreland certified, so he's been trained and or she, and they know the law, but they build it with their money.
and they should be held liable for
We
violations.
discreetly ask the Richmonds once again to maybe identify the individual. And again,
I would put the pressure on and say, if you think you're gonna get a permit, you've gotta help.
Well,
I'll bring it up at the site.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Anyway, that was one of the things.
and I always try to find that out because.
Well, I didn't want to put them on the spot tonight. I'd rather give them benefit of the doubt.
They were honest, come begging for forgiveness. You know, not trying to
If
hide.
that's being honest, then give us a name.
Exactly, exactly.
what about that? Obviously, Conor Gassman at 66 Shore Road regarding a movable dock, but
Then we'll come back.
That's a real floating dock. That threw me for a little floating dock. It's like, it's not even in the water.
That probably,
Oh, whatever.
that's been an issue, an ongoing issue for 2, 3, 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We've been trying to clear it up.
Right, and I don't know, I mean, what I have said
Oh, I think I sort of
as
remember.
the CEO,
Oh, yeah.
as the CEO, I can't permit it. If it's temporary, I mean, I'm authorized to, but I can't. If it was permanent, they're gonna have to go to the planning board and let them decide whether they can or not.
Oh.
So I don't, the word removable in there was not my idea, I want you to know that.
Well,
Because if it's removable, it doesn't come under your purview anyway.
Right.
So I think it's just, sometimes people come before you just because they need to be heard.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I know
That's fine.
sometimes it's a
That's
waste
fine.
of your time, but it does
No, that's all right.
very good purpose.
Do something.
I was kind of involved with this before. And he had installed a permanent dock on the side of the right of way, not touching the land, in the water. And the people next door complained that they didn't have access to the beach area, which there was all kinds of access to the beach area. So he took the dock out and they put a floating dock right in front of the beach.
Well, anyway, I-
For discussion.
Yep, I'm just saying, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
you start to look at these things and say, it's a mess, you know, it's a mess.
Dogs is an issue, and I wish that, you know, all of us could get on the same page, so I know how to proceed without putting.
So, yeah, just a random thought. Could we do maybe a workshop of some sort at some point in time, or maybe cruise around a few of the ponds in town to see what's sitting out there, and then all of us having that similar
Yeah, we're on the
experience.
same page.
And
Make
then,
sure I
kind of
agree.
sit down
Just
and-
the wrong time of year to go look.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you'd have to be trespassing on private property where we could get in a boat during the summertime and go,
I can tell you, because I'm on the pond all the time. And the docks that are going in now are not docks to more boats to. They are decks for having parties on, socializing on. They've got furniture on, they've got umbrellas on these things, and they're huge. They're
and
huge.
they're against code, because we have very specific.
I think, what, 6 feet wide, so many feet, but I did ask the DEP about this, because I'm trying to get educated, and I don't, it's not that they don't care, they don't have time to pursue it, and then they're not gonna back us on this.
No.
They're not gonna be there for us, that's all it is.
Well, we'll just have to see what it says in the ordinance and see if we can cover it that way. If not,
A lot of towns are taking that right out of the ordinance.
Hmm.
or just let them do whatever they want.
No, because we had this whole thing about dock size shapes, whether it could be an F, it's a T, or
Did that one pass? Did that pass?
that passed.
It's not what's going on, I'll tell you.
All right,
Because
well,
we also had a discussion of the difference between a dock, a pier, and a wharf,
It's a problem.
you know?
Well, for this issue, Chair will entertain a motion to table until such time as reschedule.
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion. Oh, go ahead.
I think
So
the
moved.
workshop's a great idea.
Yeah.
And we can start it ahead of schedule before the warm weather hits again.
Sometime in the spring.
And I would do it over the course of the winter, do the workshop
Mm-hmm.
to get our information together. And then go out and look at them in the spring. And I think we're gonna be in for a world of shop.
No.
I would really like the workshop, because sometimes I just don't know whether it belongs with you, or if you want to see it. I'd rather you see it, say, no, we can't,
Yeah,
than
that's fair.
not see it and
That's
say.
fair.
"Oh,
Better safe than sorry.
That's how I look at it, when it comes to shoreline.
With that, that means we pile things on in terms of our personal schedules, but what do you think of after we take a look at the Fridgman's place on the 15th at 10? We double back here, or we double back here and have a workshop. Go over types of docks, and as we are there, we can maybe scan around Barker's Pond and see what else is gonna sit back there.
On the 13th, come back here afterwards. It's a Saturday.
I
That wouldn't
don't have a
be-
problem with it. I don't think I have anything else.
You've got it all posted, why not?
Yeah.
Right. And add to the notification that we will be meeting in a workshop fashion afterwards at Town Hall.
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay, with access done?
I don't have access. No, I have access. No.
I do.
Oh, good, okay, good. It was already programmed. We should get back to,
But we have to post that too now. We have to post.
that's right, I think I'll include that in the,
I can include
do it all at
in the
once.
sidewalk.
Okay, yeah,
So-
that'd be a good idea.
we have a motion and a second to table this. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Who was
Aye.
the second?
Let's see,
I motioned.
not a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, table it is. And as is the case with the Brookview Estates, item 4 on the agenda, to discuss escrow requirements and possible revision of the notice of decision. And does memory serve me correctly, Rhonda, that this deals with a request for like a 45-day extension? Okay, and Julie,
They were invited to come to this meeting. They said due to the holidays and they were still waiting for some information from their bank, they would like to be pushed out to the 17th.
okay. I'll make a motion to table the matter until the 17th, our next meeting.
I'll second
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, tabled it is.
The only thing I would say is, I believe in this, in the subdivision regs that I think the planning board can waive some of those requirements, and not waive them, but what I'm saying is, it appears that there will be an ability to go from a check to a bond. That's the way I look at it. Maybe I'm giving a bump up there.
Yeah.
But if that's the issue, but then the applicant has to make a written request for that. That's what brought my.
If I remember, we had a lot of stern discussion on this.
Yeah, I know.
And it was one of the things that was
I
like,
got it marked.
this is not negotiable.
Well,
Yeah, on page 15, the certified check made payable to the town is specified there under 721. I think Don is referring to what's on page 41, I think it is.
yeah,
The waivers and modifications. 12.1 reads, the subdivider applicant may submit written justification to the planning board for a waiver to modification of these subdivision standards. Now, are they speaking of the mechanics of it, the layout, and other those specifics? Or would that include procedural things such as the certified check.
I don't know.
And I think, from my recollection, we went around the block on this before,
Yeah.
and I remember Rob was pretty adamant about, certified check. My question is, is there any precedent for a waiver to this beforehand?
Not in my time on the board.
Same here. Don?
Well, I would say, no, I don't remember any waiver either, but all I can say is I was thinking about the same thing with respect to, there was an issue about paving roads in subdivision, remember that?
Mhm.
I mean, the only thing I would say under waivers, if the applicant wants to request, to modify some of the standards, they have the ability, according to this, to submit a written request with a justification. It doesn't mean it has to be approved, but it does allow them to, at least, in my opinion, submit a written justification. So then, but in this case here, I think going back to the original application, I believe they all, we thought they were going to submit a check. Now they're coming back and trying to do a bond or something, but it's up to them to come and make their case, I guess.
I didn't,
Whatever they.
I didn't understand, it's gone back and forth. It really has, and they missed the 45 days. I think they understood that it wasn't passed.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Oh, it was
think
well
that's why
determined that during the hearing, before we made our notice of decision.
But it shouldn't be your issue. I mean, they shouldn't, you're just enforcing what the notice says.
It's not my issue, I told them that.
Yeah.
They contacted Jean, they contacted the treasurer.
Yeah, that's not right.
And the answer is always,
Well, we're here every 2 weeks. Well,
Mhm.
sorry, first and third. So,
All right.
anyway.
Next on the agenda, Rusty Greens, review information regarding site plan review to update town files. And,
You had suggested calling and emailing. I did send him an email with a read receipt. I got like a response from the email from the system itself saying that the read receipt was denied. So I don't know if they clicked something to not send back acknowledgement, but they never replied. I did not call him because they can be very
Aggressive?
aggressive
okay.
Terse.
when they don't agree. I did not want to be
Right.
the recipient of
Backlash.
or anger or anything. So the email went out, a certified letter went out at the beginning of December. We have not received the card back that they signed it. We have not received the unclaimed letter itself back at this time either.
I think what I'd like to see, and my memory is great, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the dialogue so far has been, you wanted to meet with the property owners to determine if a site plan review is needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I gave you the assessor's notes that shows that they were out of operation for at least 29 months.
Right.
So I think I would like maybe not at this meeting, we should put it on the agenda that maybe they're going to take a vote if they agree that it is a site plan review.
Mhm.
And then if there's no response, then it would be a notice of violation.
Yellow flagging.
But it needs to be a vote from you that yes, it is, based on
Right.
the inactivity for 29
Right.
months, and based on whatever you want to base it on.
A change of use. It's not an auction house.
That's what I think, it's a change of use. But I think you need to take a vote that, yes, it is a site plan review project, and
This is another matter of an ancient conditional use permit.
it is.
That has kind of resurfaced, that there was, I think, the applicant's contention that it carried over with the property, with the no conduct of the business in that area for that period of time, it kind of negates the original covenant. So I'd be willing to entertain a motion for site plan review for this.
We can put it on the next agenda. and listed that you were going to vote whether it's a site plan review project or not. And then if you say, if you vote that it isn't, then we're done. If you vote that it is, the notification, and then the sole amount of time and notice of violation.
John, would you be inclined to take that vote now?
I would. I think it ought to go
the
to
next
site plan review. I
See
don't
what
know.
else there is to consider over the next 2 weeks. Kevin?
They built a paved parking lot out there. We don't know the number of spaces, number of handicap.
Mhm.
To our standards. Stormwater changes. You saw that, I think you saw it, looking after the storm, that the place was flooded out, so.
Yeah, the discrepancy in the size of the septic system, how many people it really covers.
Yeah.
They did submit an updated plan that was written for those, as many people as, I think, what, 270? So we have the plan, it hasn't been installed, but we have the plan. So that could be one of the conditions that
Yeah,
we
I mean-
expanded or whatever.
And to be clear, what we want to do is just update the, what was the conditional use permit of old. There's no intent to shut this business down whatsoever. They've done a lot of good work with the property.
They're a good neighbor.
There you go. Again, it's just a matter of getting in here to conduct formalities. Well, we have a motion to take a vote now. We've got to make that. Thanks, Charlie.
I make a motion that the planning board conduct a site plan review on Rustic Dreams, 7 Rabbit Run, map 12, lot 007. Start the process for that.
Based on
The fact that we have documentation that there's been a
Change of use.
a lapse in use and possible changes in use, and it appears that it needs to be reviewed again.
Motion on the table. Second. Further discussion, James? All those in favor?
Aye.
We put, if they don't want to show up, that's on them, I guess, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. Updates from the code enforcement office.
Got everything I have.
The tax lien letter that Kevin drafted, sent it to the town manager. Town manager has referred it to Brenda, and with the suggestion that we get advice from town council on that, and that's in process right
That's
now.
been forwarded to the county.
Yeah, that was good. That covered the waterfront.
Yes, yeah, really well written things. Next on the agenda, reviewing minutes from the December 20th public meeting, and also the public hearing, and also with our meeting. Shall we take them individually or together?
Individually,
Okay.
make a motion that we accepted the town planning board public hearing minutes for December 20th, 2023.
Second?
Second.
Good. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. You guys. As for the planning board, the regular planning board meeting minutes, the 20th of December of last year.
Well, they have to be modified
With respect to,
the wording of the notice of decision.
For MX 2007.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for MX 207. And on standard number 16, I believe we said the proper category that should be put in there was recreational facility, right, recreational facility. And also, I think, Julie, weren't you going to add some meeting, or did you already add those?
I thought those were added.
They're on there.
It's the Mary meeting,
Mhm.
well, There, that notice of decision, the dates needed to be added
Okay.
before it can be official and signed.
Okay, but that's not covered in this minutes.
No.
Okay. All right, so the minutes are okay as long as you have that category.
It's
Is that
gonna add a
correct? Okay.
category.
So I'll make a motion, we accept them. Do we ever say that? Accept the minutes of December 20th with the addition of the category under standard, after standard 16. That is recreational facility.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We'll do the signatures on those at the end of the meeting. Old business, Harper Residential. Still waiting.
Haven't
that.
heard anything from them.
That was, the hitch on that is the road. Kennebec Road, Old Kennebec Road was discontinued by virtue of the select board vote. And it reverted to the abutters in some way. That,
Exactly.
Yeah, they divide it.
It goes right down the middle and
The butters get half.
okay. So that's something for the applicant to straighten out. Okay. And any word from them on that?
Nothing yet.
But that's really on them. They haven't, it's up to them.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Just in terms of other old business, anything from the folks at the Maxons over at Cottage Road, Army Corps of Engineers?
No, I contacted them, I haven't heard that.
Okay.
It's on my radar.
I had said I was going to try to compose a letter for the select board for the moratorium. Life got in the way. I hadn't announced it, but on December 3rd, my mother passed away. So in clearing up her estates with the family and the holidays, things got in the way. I apologize. I will try to get to it soon.
All right.
We should vote on officers if people want to do that. Because I don't see there's any, I mean, the thought, we could wait till another person was appointed, but we're gonna have to vote again on the first meeting in
June.
in July. So my suggestion, this is a suggestion, is we vote on officers now to cover us, so that'll cover us up till the end of June, and then board members can vote again for officers for next year. That way we're covered, and if a new person is added, that person probably, well, I shouldn't say that, but I mean, anyway, I'm just saying that we need to I think we need to have a chairman and a vice chairman, because you gotta keep going, gotta keep the business moving.
I make a motion that Don Herman be
No, wait a minute.
interim
Not
because
so
we know
fast.
you're retiring
Not so fast.
and you're
No, no.
experienced and it's short term.
No, I don't want to be the chairman. I don't want.
Vice chair.
No, I don't want to be the vice chair. I want one of you guys to do it. Because it's time. It's time, honestly, you guys, it's time. And
I tried.
and I've said before, and I'm not, it's not a
Tried.
big deal, but I am gonna
Retire.
Yeah, I'm not retiring, but my term ends the end of June, and I think it's time for me to allow someone else to have the opportunity to have this much fun. So,
Good wording.
and no, seriously, I just think it's time for somebody else to do it. And so I'm going to tell the selectmen that around the first of April so they can start looking for candidates.
So let me ask a question. So do you think the selectmen are gonna let us choose, or are they gonna tell us?
What, the chairman and vice chairman?
Yeah.
Oh, no. We elect our own daggone chairman and vice chairman.
That's in the evidence.
But is it on the charter?
It's not covered. It says in there, it says in the charter, and I'm pretty darn sure that the boards elect their own chairman and vice chairman. So I don't think there'll be any, I mean, that's not acceptable.
Takes my copy of the charter. There it is.
Look at me excited here. I just haven't-
Like riling you up, Don.
No, that's under, I know it's in there. Boards.
I look forward to listening to so much here as its leader.
What page on, please?
15.
15.
That's pretty cool.
No, that makes sense.
Understood.
So, so we can nominate somebody if we want.
Yeah, it says right in there, we're supposed to elect our own
Each board
chair.
elects its own chair as its leader.
We don't vote on the officers.
Done.
All right, I'd like to nominate Mr. Wagner to be the chair.
I'll second that nomination for current vice chair Joe Wagner to move up to chair.
Motion.
I make a motion to close nominations.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye. Do you
Thank you.
accept?
I accept. Thank you.
Okay, vice chair.
Shoot.
Vice Chair.
Well, you've only got two possibilities.
3.
Two,
Well, actually, there's 5.
no,
No, you have to
you have to be a regular member of the board.
Yeah.
We have a resignation.
That doesn't matter. And I'm sure the selectmen are gonna say they're gonna pick who they want. So
Which I'll protest.
Well,
No.
that's not gonna
it's
decide.
neither here nor there. It's just that I don't wanna do it twice.
So wait, now who's, okay, let me make sure I understand what's going on. Okay, who is a regular member now, full-time?
Kevin and I.
Okay, so,
That are here.
and you're an alternate, right?
I'm an alternate.
And Cecile's an alternate.
That's right.
Okay. And yeah, okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well,
So, well, again, it's short term.
6 months.
So you've actually got three choices.
I nominate
Nominate.
Kevin as vice chair.
I don't
I
want
think
to.
it's down to 2. That's a mistake.
So and I'm fine. I mean,
I don't, well, I would suggest that maybe you gentlemen state whether you want to do it or not.
well, but in my humble opinion, a vice chairman's gonna have some good background in what we're doing. So the time being on the board is important. So I think that really just leaves it down to one. And again, it's only for 6 months. It's only for 6 months.
I understand.
But I think in a logistical way of doing it.
It is very logical. I tend to
Not that I
agree.
don't think you could do it.
That's fine.
You know, I just,
It's a better, I think, I make a motion that, that
Bozo
I
over
nominate
here
Kelly as the vice chairman.
for the interim.
No, until the next election.
Yeah, interim.
I'll second that.
Nominations closed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Accept.
Abstain. I'll accept begrudgingly.
Okay, and Cecile's, now we should notify, the planning board should notify the select board, I guess, just that.
Yeah,
that's
town
happening.
manager.
In your free time.
Oh,
Does
and
anyone have anything else?
yes, I will not be here for the January 17th meeting.
Okay.
I will be down in Taunton, Mass, giving testimony in court.
Oh, good for you.
Expert testimony, getting paid.
Oh, you get paid.
Oh, yes.
That's gonna stop at McDonald's afterwards.
No, this is a nasty divorce. I'm eating at the Ritz.
Ooh.
The only thing that was in the packet was the letter, copy of the letter from Southern Maine Planning and Development.
Yes, where'd that go?
And just FYI, I believe, and folks over there do wonderful work for this town and the entire county as well.
Oh, wait, what is it, is this a feel-good letter or what?
Well, there was a good list of what the membership comes with.
That's right.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
gonna ask what does that include?
Mhm.
Oh. Oh, I wanted to ask, it says your dues for next year would be $1,928. Do we have to recommend to the select board to pay
I
that, or?
think it's put in the budget automatically. I think I can add that the special meeting workshop that we had last July where Jay came and
Mhm.
gave his opinion, I think it was on the next
20.
207.
Yeah.
That was not billed to us, it was part of the dues to pay for him to come. Just throwing that out there, we did get a lot from him that.
Oh, yeah, I think they've done a good job for us.
I noticed that they said that the town saved like $22,000 in co-op ordering. I mean, maybe our sand and salt is ordered through a co-op, I don't know.
The state bid.
Oh, yeah.
They do it through the state, yeah.
So do you have to be a member to get that?
No.
Oh,
I didn't know what that 22,000 represented, I was kind of curious.
Stationary.
no, I don't know.
But, would be worthwhile sending a note to the town manager and select board. Speaking of our, the benefits of membership, or past experience, or just.
I think they got that letter, because the letter is actually addressed to me.
Yeah, it's just to the town manager.
A copy came to the planning board.
Yeah, no, I think they've done a good job.
Yeah.
Maybe another resource for funding for the aerial photography RFP that's currently out.
I don't know, that might be.
Possibly so.
I was thinking either the Council of Governments or one of the emergency managements, York County, state or federal, might have some funding, since we want to tie that photography package to the dispatch center for the fire department. I don't know if there's anything available.
I think the town manager should pursue that.
Mm-hmm. And if I remember correctly, SMPDC also has a lot of maps on file.
They do, and they have a tremendous amount of local data, the demographics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they provided the demographics for our comprehensive plan, but the last plan was dated, was 2019, and the data there is from 2010. So I think the comprehensive plan committee is trying to get them to update that data for 2000. Hopefully they've got it. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming they have it. That could be a wrong assumption, but they have it for the whole county or for the whole area, and that they would update that, because if we're going to update the comprehensive plan, we got to have that demographic data from 2020.
They used to, years ago, they used to publish work every so often, those demographics for all the towns in New York.
Mhm.
So you could compare to other towns. what
That's a good idea. I
others
don't know.
like, and that way, you might notice that, I don't know, there's growth in SAT 57, but not necessarily in other RSUs. So that would, I don't know if they still do that. That was an excellent resource.
Yeah.
You're talking almost 20 years ago, because I remember the first company I started out with, as an appraisal firm, we were getting notifications, information from them that we had signed up and subscribed to, and it helped.
Good data.
Yes.
So just to recap, would be worthwhile to send a little note to the town manager expressing our commendations for the town membership in this, and include Kevin's idea that maybe this organization can be, along with
Like York County Emergency Management had was it 25 million in ARPA funds that they're putting towards that rehab facility.
That's right.
It might be something left over that might help us out.
Yeah, as one of a number of sources so named to fund the aerial mapping initiative.
Who's writing what? That's the next question.
No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
He's a good letter writer.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
He did a great job with the last one.
Yeah, that was good. Good job.
Did you need a motion on that, or just have to get drafts and bring that?
Just an action on that.
Yeah, just housekeeping.
All right. Do we have anything else?
Yeah, I'd just like to make one comment. I'd like to recommend, or at least as a member of the planning board, I'd like to commend Rod Tate for his service to the board. I don't know that, I think he was on my memory is lousy, but I came on the board in November, I think, of 2008. And I believe Rod was on the board then, and then I think he had some time off, and then he came back on the board. But I know he's been chairman for a long time. He has a very good demeanor, and he's less excitable than I am, that's for sure. And I just think he's done a very, very good job. And I'm sorry to see him leave. And I want to thank, I think Brenda or somebody had a card. We sent a card to him, which I thought that was a very good gesture. But I just like to put in the record that I'd like to commend him for his service to the town and also, and one thing about Rod, I never noticed it was always, follow the ordinance, very level-headed, no bias or anything of that nature towards for or against any applicant. So he did a doggone good job, is my point. So I just want to make that a part of the record, if you don't mind.
Here, here.
So.
No, he was a great mentor.
Good.
Very much so. All right. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
But Chance, before you go, I just want to get our signatures on these guys. On the minutes.
Who seconded that motion?
I think I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Your meetings are too long.
Sorry, I agree.
Remember when they used to start at what?
6:30, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
I gotta tell you, moving